Thank you for joining us for Dow Electronics Public-Private Webinar. Here with you is Josie Mosquita and Keith Shoup, and we're going to be talking about the commercial side of dish business with some interesting topics. So let's go ahead and start. We want to talk about the commercial opportunity that all of our retailers have, and some of them might not realize that the opportunity is available. So when you're on your way to work or an install, this is what you see. We want to make sure that you also see the opportunity out there, the opportunity available in all of the businesses that you pass by on a daily basis, the businesses that you drive by on your way to work, on your way to an install, or just on your way to run any errands or do anything else. So it's very simple. There's a lot of similarities between commercial and residential. There are a few key differences. Now, the sales process is fundamentally the same. Sometimes it might take a little longer because when you're selling a residential account, you already know who the main buyer is going to be. But with a business, you might have more than one person making that decision, or it might take a little longer to get to that person. The programming packages are going to be the same name, same channel numbers, so the packages run parallel. There are a few slight differences in channels. For example, you're not going to have the America's Everything pack because that includes your HBO, Showtime, Stars. So that's going to be your slight differences. Now, the add-on packs are still available. Your Flex pack is still available as well. Where you're going to see the most significant difference is in the equipment. And it's because all of the features are not available for the receivers in a commercial installation. But you still use the same receivers. So the same receivers that you could use for a residential install, you would use for a commercial installation. Customer satisfaction is going to be key. You want to be able to provide a really high level of customer service to your commercial customers. It's going to be critical to grow that avenue of your business. And then as far as pricing, your main packages, you'll notice, have the same pricing, and then there are a few variances that change the price, such as how many rooms, how many TVs, the estimated viewing occupancy, and what kind of business it is. And we're going to be taking a look at all of these things. Now, essentially, you can sell dish anywhere that you have or can have a TV. And that's going to include any kind of home or business property. The easiest places to sell TV as far as commercial are going to be your small businesses. These are your public and private businesses. So a public business are the kind of businesses where they either charge an admission or they rely on the sale of food or alcohol for immediate consumption. So this is going to include your hospitality industry. This is going to include your restaurants, your bars, your gyms, your clubs, cafeterias, places like that. Your private businesses, you'll notice you have more private than public. These are also accessible to the public, but do not rely on the sale of food and drinks for immediate consumption. They also don't charge admission. So examples of private businesses are going to be, for example, a clothing store, shoe store, a hair salon, a tire shop, a doctor's office, a lawyer's office, laundromat. Those are all places that qualify as a private business. Now, on a side note, if somebody has a business based out of their home, it will be deemed residential by DISH. So even though they might have all of their paperwork in place to have a legitimate business working out of home, it will not be considered commercial for DISH purposes. So we mentioned a lot of similarities. You're going to have the same packages, as we mentioned, the same names like your Flex Pack, your America's Top packages, your Latino packages. You're also going to have the same promotion. So the 2-year price guarantee is also going to be available. The same equipment's available. Entering your orders is as simple as entering a residential order. It is also done in Axiom. And towards the end, we're going to take a look at what that looks like. The protection plan is also available for commercial customers. There are a lot of solutions on Brand Drive, and they can manage their marketing there just like you would for your residential promotion. your co-op for your commercial activation. Now, your customer retention index can also be measured with your residential and commercial customers. So that's a really big, that's key right there with your customer retention index, because actually bringing on more public and private customers can lower your churn by at least 0.5%. Your commercial customers do tend to stay on a lot longer than your residential customers. They'll stay on for an average of 5 years. So they're going to be more stable customers. And then the referral program. There's also a referral program that you're going to find information on in Brand Drive, where you can basically have leave behinds at different businesses where you've already installed a commercial customer. And then they can refer it to anybody else. They're not doing the sale for you. The customer will still call you, and then you can make that sale through those referrals, either to the business's employees or other customers that go to the business. A few of the differences: you'll have business fees associated with your business customers. You'll also have a few differences as far as the premiums and the pay-per-view. So ordering of pay-per-view events won't be exactly the same as it will be with your residential. They would have to call the promoter, for example, like with the upcoming fights, but they still can order those events, but they'll have a different price. Now with your equipment, even though you can use the same equipment, there'll be some features. For example, the Sling feature won't be available, so they won't be able to access Dish Anywhere. They also will not have access to the DVR, Primetime Anytime, or AutoHop. Those are features that are not available for public-private customers. The credit qualification is also going to be a simpler process, and they're going to be qualified based on their tax ID certificate. There's no actual credit qualification. So there are 2 plans for them to choose from. No credit qualification will go in place there, no quality tiers. And then you're also going to have the difference in your monthly incentives, where you have to maintain a minimum of 3 activations a month, whether it's residential and commercial, residential or commercial, in order to get your monthly incentive. So there's a lot of opportunity for commercial sales. It's still an untapped market. Something that retailers need to understand is that they have right now everything that they need to go and make a commercial sale. You don't need additional agreements or amendments. All you have to do is just go make the sale. So there's opportunities out there in the restaurant industry, banks, health clubs, personal services, retail locations. You've got over 580,000 market opportunities with restaurants. You've got over 230,000 with medical practices. So just look in your area, all these different businesses that don't have Dish service yet that you can start offering it to. When you're talking with your potential customers, you can give them the reasons why they should choose Dish, why they should have TV service available for their customers. Now, we've all been customers having to wait someplace, and you know how the time can seem a lot longer when you're waiting in a place that has nothing to entertain you. So when the customers are there and they're waiting, for example, to get their oil change or their tires fixed, or waiting for a doctor's appointment, having a TV on with good quality picture and an interesting show is going to make their perceived wait time a lot less. So that customer experience is going to be a lot better, and that's going to drive more customer loyalty. Also, you can use the TVs to keep the employees and the customers informed and connected during different events that are of public interest. So it also can help for public businesses, help that business to become a destination and drive foot traffic where they can televise different sporting events. So here's just some data on televisions in businesses. So 74% of businesses own at least one TV. That's an opportunity to get in there and provide the TV service. But then we still have that other 26% that doesn't have TVs yet, and that gives the retailers an opportunity to also go in and sell them the additional TVs. So remember that you can diversify, you can sell more than just the TV service, you can sell the TVs itself and the rest of that customer experience. With HDTVs now being on the rise, and Dish being able to provide HD TV at no cost for the customers, it's going to be a definite plus for you. The monthly price as well is going to be a lot lower than what they can find with the competition. So you can offer to bundle with other service. You can show them the availability of the different packages that they have to choose from. It's not just one option. They actually have practically the same options that all your residential customers have. And then once you start selling to some customers, that word of mouth is also going to help you in your promotions, and people are talking about it. So you can provide a variety of programming options, and you can also provide them with the help to get the marketing to drive more customers. So the reason the retailer should care about this, the reason you should care about this is you'll have more stable customers. You get a customer signed on for their public or private business, and they have a TV service that's keeping their customers happy. They're not very likely to want to disconnect that anytime soon. You're definitely going to have an increased market. It's going to be a lot easier to walk into a business to offer the service than it is to walk into a home to offer the service. Your churn rate decreases as well. And then 95% of the business customers actually have less than 3 receivers. What that means for you is that the installations are going to be a lot easier. They're going to be simple. You might be used to doing larger installs for your residential customers, and although some commercial customers will have larger businesses that need a lot of TVs, most of them will be very simple installs. Now keep in mind that with the receivers, you can have the same receivers, some disabled features. We mentioned the DVR and the Primetime Anytime, the Dish Anywhere. Now with your 211, there will not be a difference in features. There are no disabled features. With your VIP 222 series, the difference will be the no DVR and the no on-demand content. Now the rest of the installation will be the same. You'll use the same antennas, same switches, LNBs, masts. It's going to be all the same product, so you don't need to keep a separate inventory for your commercial customers. Only the MPEG-4 equipment is eligible for your commercial activations. Now, as far as leased tuners, it's the same as residential, where there's a maximum of 6 leased tuners per account. Anything after 6 would have to be purchased. And as far as total receivers on account, you're going to have the maximum of 15 total receivers or 30 tuners per account. Now, for some of your installations, you might decide that just having receivers is not enough, and you'd rather go with a smarter solution like a smart box. So we're going to be talking about that towards the end, where Keith is going to be explaining and giving an overview of the smart box technology, as well as the other kind of business customers available, which would be your bulk customers. So let's look at how simple it is when we look at the plans. You know, your residential customers have 5 different plans that they could possibly qualify for. With a commercial customer, there are only 2 plans. It's going to be DBA 24 Plus or Flex TV Business. With the same promotion, 24-month commitment for the DBA or no commitment for the Flex TV Business. There is no activation fee for the DBA 24 Plus customer. The business verification will be required. They can lease the equipment, and they still get the free standard professional installation. As I mentioned earlier, the current core offer to your TV price guarantee is also available for commercial customers with the DBA 24 Plus plan. Flex TV business customers will be very similar to your Flex TV residential customers, where they're going to pay the everyday price for their service, and they will not have a 2-year agreement. They also get HD free for life. Now you also have your business snapshot, just like your residential snapshot, and it's going to show you all of the different equipment. Again, it's going to be simpler than your residential snapshot because there are only 2 plans versus 5 plans. You notice your monthly receiver fees are going to go right along with your monthly receiver fees for residential. What that means is you don't have to learn a new set of pricing. You don't have to learn new packages or new promotions. It's going to stay the same for you when you're trying to sell to commercial as when you're trying to sell to residential. You want to make sure you always have the latest snapshot handy. The commercial snapshot is going to be divided one section into your America's Top programming and your Dish Latino programming, and that subdivides into public and private for each. So you're going to want to notice you have your everyday monthly price. Everyday price is going to be the same as it is with residential. Added to that, based on the packaging, will be a business fee or an estimated viewing occupancy fee. Also, to help make it a little easier for you to talk about it, there is a section in the Dish 123 workbook that talks about private and public businesses. So all you'd have to do is you have this in the same way you would use it with your residential customers. We've all seen how to use a Dish 123. There's also the training available on DishU. You can talk with the customer after seeing what channels they like. You can figure out what programming package to recommend. And then based on how many TVs they're getting installed, you can quickly give them an estimate of what their monthly rate is going to be. So for a customer in a private business who's getting an America's Top 120 Plus, if they have 3 TVs getting installed, you're looking at a monthly rate of $88.99 a month. You can quickly give them that estimate. For your public business, you also take into consideration the public business fees. So a customer in a public business with the America's Top 120 Plus and 3 TVs, you can give them that estimate of $113.99 a month. To make it more appealing to your public customers, remember that all of the sports programming that's available for residential is also available for commercial, such as your multi-sports pack. It contains all the same channels at the same exact price that it is for residential, the $13 a month. So just some tips on getting the word out and cross-selling, some ideas that you can mention when you're talking to your customers. If they're calling in, ask if they're calling about Dish for their home or their business. They might not know that you can also sell to their business. The customer that's calling for residential might own a business, or they work at a business, or they know somebody that they can mention it to. You can ask how much they pay for their current TV service at their business. How do they entertain their customers while they're waiting for service? Could you increase profits by keeping customers in your establishment longer with high quality entertainment? Did you know you can use our referral program for businesses as well? And do you know a business owner who would be interested in Dish Network? So those are all good questions that you can use on different conversations with your customers. If you're just starting to sell public-private, chances are your customers might not know that this option is available, so you want to get the word out. Make sure you mention it in your business cards, just a little blast that says commercial. Mention it on your websites and your social media that you have solutions for business available. And in Brand Drive, there are a lot of solutions for direct mail, print ads, billboards, radio, and TV that you can market to the commercial, public, and private sales as well. Another way to start getting the word out is networking. You can network with other businesses, share websites, you can incentivize for using the referral program, you can join your local chamber of commerce, or you can join different networking groups, and that's a way to also help get the word out that you have TV service available for businesses. A few different strategies that you can find solutions for on Brand Drive. If you're going to do any door-to-door marketing, make sure that all of your employees have uniforms, that you have the right permits. And remember, this door-to-door is not for residential. We're talking about going door-to-door to different businesses. So to help you find what businesses you could go to, there is a bar finder app that's going to show you different DirecTV locations that have DirecTV service, or you can find different apps out on Google. You can do a search online to find public or private businesses near you. And then give your team closing tools and marketing materials to leave behind. Make sure that you have enough literature for public and private, not just for residential. Another idea is to host an event. So for example, let's say you sign on a customer that owns a sports bar, you can hold an event at that business since they already have the service, and invite other businesses nearby in order to promote your service as well as promoting that local business. There's a customer estimate sheet that's available in Brand Drive in the download center that you can take with you when you're talking to your commercial customers, just to give them an idea of what their total cost would be for the programming package based on how many TVs and whether it's commercial public or commercial private. There's also several kits available in Brand Drive. There's a referral kit, and this is basically something that you can leave at different businesses with cards that will have your information, and anybody interested just takes it with them and calls you. Because the business where you're leaving this will not be doing any part of the sales for you, you're just leaving your information behind, you will not need to sign third-party agreements for this. They're not performing the sale, they're not entering the order in Axiom, they're not doing the install, they're just giving you some counter space to leave your literature behind. There's also information in the kits where you can leave at different businesses to let their customers know that they have the TV service and they can watch the games there. So here's another kind of referral kit with different window clings, posters, bottle openers, channel guides. So all of these different kits available for both public and for private. Some more information that you want to know once you start activating and selling your commercial account. Make sure that when you're qualifying your customers, you can use a tax ID number. If it's a sole proprietor, then you would use the Social Security number. You will need to verify the business. So for every commercial installation that's done after the fact, Dish always will try to establish a connection with that business. They'll try to reach out to them. If they're not able to find them, then you might get an audit, a commercial audit, which basically means that you're going to have to provide the information yourself because Dish was not able to get a hold of them. In order to make this faster for you, you should get into the habit for every installation that you do, every commercial installation, gather three things. You're going to need a picture of the front of the business that shows the address. You're going to need a picture of the setup screen once activated from one of the TVs, and a copy of the business license. So make sure you have all of these things, and that way if you ever get an email letting you know that you have a commercial audit, you're able to go in and quickly submit your information. Once you have a commercial audit, what you'd have to do is go into Sellers Hub in the Communicate tile, and you can click View Commercial Audit Account. If you would like to check, you can always check any commercial accounts that have a dispute, and then you would just submit your dispute. We do have a video available on Dow Portal that shows the entire process for submitting a commercial dispute. It's actually a rather simple process. You just have to make sure that you already have the pictures available before you start. And if you ever do need help with a commercial dispute, you can always contact your account rep, your inside account manager, and we'll be happy to help you out with that. Now, as far as creating the sale, entering the order in Axiom, it's going to be just as easy as entering a residential order. Once you're in Axiom, under account type, where you typically select residential, you would just select commercial. From here, you would select if the business is public or private, based on the factors that we mentioned before. And if the business is public, you'll want to enter their estimated viewing occupancy. And the estimated viewing occupancy is just how many seats face the TVs. It's not going to be the same number that's given by the fire department of the business occupancy, which means how many people fit in the business. You might have a business where 150 people can fit, but they only have 20 seats around the TVs. So their EVO would be 20 and not 150. Now the business owner is expected to know this information. The retailer does not need to know this information for the business owner. The rest of the process is going to be very similar. You're going to have the same tabs available in Axiom as you go through building your order. You'll have your video tab, your TV tab. You're going to have your services tab, your checkout tab, all the same tabs. You're going to be able to add the protection plan. You're going to see all the different packages. You're going to see the current offers. One thing that you'll notice different will be the fees. You'll notice that fee that's going to be added up in the summary section. So if there's a business fee, you will notice that fee itemized separately for the customer. And the fees will be based on whether it's public or private. The fees range between $10 to $40. There will be a few of the smaller packages that will not have any fees associated with them for private businesses. So you'll notice those prices will actually be the same as they are with your residential customers. Now, there are additional forms that you can use when you're going to do a commercial installation. There's a commercial installation letter of permission form. There's a link to all of these forms on commercial.dish.com. This is a public-facing website, and you will not need a password or a login to access this site. As we mentioned before, there are only 2 plans with public and private. So you're going to see these when you're in your offer details in Axiom. So you would just select if it's going to be DBA 24 Plus or DBA Flex TV, and it's just the customer's choice. It's not a credit qualification process. Now, another tool that you have at your disposal to help with your commercial accounts is the Dish Sales app. You might have already used it for commercial customers and to manage your leads. You can also use it for commercial customers. You can see all of the different business solutions. You can select the customer's preferred programming, select it as favorites. That will then let you create an estimate. The good thing about the estimates that you're going to create in your sales app is it gives you the ability to email the estimate to a customer. So a lot of times your commercial customers will need you to send them an estimate before they can sign off on it, before they can make their final decision. So this is going to give you a really easy way to build the estimate, have it emailed over without having to type up everything that the customer wants and write out the prices. This does it all for you. And you can download the sales app on mobilemarket.dish.com. You're just going to need your user ID and password that you use to log into Dish Portal and to Axiom. It's the same user ID and password that you're going to use to get the sales app. So remember, there's a lot of opportunities for the commercial businesses. There's over 20 million market opportunities. As I said, a very untapped market yet, because we need to realize just how easy it is and how readily available. You have everything that you need right now. You can start with businesses that you already go to. Think about where you go for lunch on most days, where you go to get a haircut, where do you go to get your oil change, or maybe your doctor, your daycare. Start with those places and start offering your services. You can also mention it to your commercial customers. Ask if they own a business or if they know a business owner that would be interested in TV sales. Set a goal for yourself. Maybe you want to start with, 10 customers. Make a goal. This week I'm going to talk to 10 different businesses about this opportunity. And then make sure that you add a commercial banner or slogan to your marketing, to your advertising. Remember, the tools are available in Brand Drive. And we also have different reps that can help you with this. So we're going to have all the contact information shown at the end for the Dow manager that manages commercial, as well as for the Dish account managers that manage commercial. So now let's take a look at an overview of the bulk side of Dish business. And for that, we're going to have Keith shoot.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Appreciate the opportunity to come on and kind of, talk to you a little bit, give you a high-level overview of the bulk opportunity out there. Obviously, we've been talking this morning about the public-private, which, as you've seen, mirrors very closely the residential. The opportunity in that side is tremendous. Another area that we're seeing a lot of growth right now and a lot of excitement is on the bulk side. So really, when we talk about bulk, we're really talking about 2 main segments. One is called FTG, or free to guest, and the other one is called MDU, stands for multi-dwelling unit. Now, from the free to guest side, Free to guest is defined as facilities that allow overnight or short-term stays by individuals. If you can think of places like hotels, those type of places would all fit into the free to guest type of scenario. They're going in there, they're paying for a bed, they're not staying there long term. One way that one of my colleagues on the dish side kind of defines it is, you know, are you bringing your own soap or is it being provided to you? So in a free to guest scenario, obviously, you go to a hotel, they're providing soap for you. That's a good way to kind of think of it, right? So again, hotels, motels, hospitals, assisted living, timeshares are all examples on the free to guest side. Now, when we move over to the multi-dwelling unit, we're talking about places that are considered more long-term, you know, condos, dorms, retirement communities, all places where you might stay, but you're bringing, you know, you're buying and using your own soap. It's not provided to you by the association or property manager or anything along those lines. So within the multi-dwelling unit side, we break it down by bulk and SDS, kind of depending on how things are set up. SDS, if you're not familiar, is a program that we have that allows you to be able to set up one main dish on that property. So I don't know if you guys have ever, you know, driven through maybe a more urban area where there's some buildings, condos, dorms where in the past, you know, each one of those units had their own dish and you drive by and see 10, 15, 20 dishes on the side. Now through SDS, what it allows you to do is take those dishes down, put up one main antenna and be able to feed a signal to all of the units in the building. On the bulk side, it's a little bit different. You know, bulk, basically the property pays for the same programming. It's delivered to all the residents throughout the building. On the SDS side, it provides residents to have their own account. They can have different programming packages and offers a little bit more flexibility as far as hardware and the channel packages they've received. So that's kind of the differences between the bulk and the SDS side when you're talking about MDU. So when we're talking on the bulk side, again, this is kind of a good illustration of, you know, the systems of the past and the solution that is available today. So there on the left, we have this huge commercial head-end system. It looks like there's probably 4, 8, 12 receivers per rack, so a total of 36 channels that are being delivered to the property, it looks like. And, you know, all of the equipment, all of the cost for electricity, for cooling, you know, just a lot of space that's all occupied to be able to provide those channels to a particular property. That's really what we've been dealing with for decades now. And then if you look over on the right-hand side, we have a new solution, if you're not familiar with it, called the Smart Box, that's able to deliver all of that same content, all of that same programming that you see on the left through a much smaller form factor box, getting all of the same feeds from the satellite coming into the box and then pushing that out to all of the different, you know, to the distribution plant and then to all of the different units. So a little bit about SmartBox for those that aren't familiar with it. What it really does is allows you to be able to offer a really flexible, scalable solution for properties. 70% less power consumption than your normal head-end that you saw on the previous slide there on the left. Much less space. Again, a much smaller size to be able to deliver the same kind of content. So when we talk about smart, we kind of break it down into 5 areas. So it's scalable, smart and slightly bigger than a microwave, just to kind of give you a little bit of a context as far as what we're talking about here. It's manageable, so it's an enterprise grade TV service management system. It's adaptable, something that you're going to be able to install today and is going to be able to evolve for the needs of your customers maybe tomorrow, next year, 5 years from now. It's reliable. Your guests and those that are receiving programming through that SmartBox will never even know if a component fails. One of the really neat parts of SmartBox is the built-in redundancy. So you have the ability to, you know, if a channel goes down or if a particular, you know, component fails, you have a backup system set up through SmartBox that allows another piece of hardware to kick in and pick up where that failed component, you know, dropped the ball, so to speak. So the reliability is going to be huge. And then the total cost of ownership, again, from a cost perspective, comparing to the old head-end systems that you're talking about, you know, obviously it varies based on the needs of the property, but I've seen in some instances, you know, reduction in cost of 2 to 3 times of what you were looking at with the old system. One of the other cool parts about SmartBox is the ability to remote manage the system. So as with the old head ends, you know, if something went down, required you to roll a truck or a tech out there to kind of figure out, troubleshoot and figure out what's going on, and then replace the defective part. SmartBox has built-in ability to allow you to remotely monitor, check logs, check data from the inside. You know, all of the sensors and everything that's monitoring the health of the SmartBox, be able to go in there remotely, log in and see exactly what's going on. Maybe something that could be remotely reset from your end and doesn't require a tech to roll out. Might be something that does, but it'll at least give you the option, the ability to get a better view of what is going on remotely before you make a decision. So this here on the last slide is my information. I, again, am the commercial account manager over here on the Dow side. There is my phone number and my email address. On the right side there, we have the contact information for both the bulk free-to-guest MDU account area sales manager on the Dish side. His name is Ryan Smith, and his information is there, as well as Ron Visital, who manages more of the public-private side of commercial for Dish, and his information and contact points are right there as well. So, again, you know, and just adding on to the already great presentation that, you know, that Josie gave for the public-private, bulk is also a huge area that we think there's a lot of potential. If this is an area that you would be interested in getting more familiar with, please reach out to me. I'll be glad to talk over the opportunity and see if it's a good fit and what opportunity we can make happen in your area. So look forward to talking to many of you very, very soon.
And that concludes our presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to anyone here in the satellite team, and we'd be happy to help you get set up and happy to help you looking for anything that you might need on Brand Drive to start ramping up your commercial, public, private, or bulk business. Thank you.
Thank you.